Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Wherever you may be. Michael, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
Babby Joe, how you doing?
Ooh, he's fabby. All right. You must have been watching RuPaul's Drag Race like my daughter lately. It's her new addiction right now.
No, it's just the peanut butter whiskey.
That'll do it too. That will do it too. I never realized how many ridiculous number of seasons there were for this reality drag show that my daughter's watching.
Was there like 8 seasons or something like that?
Oh, I think it's like 13 or I don't know. It's like something huge. And I guess it even went like international. And I mean, yeah, when RuPaul got big, dude blew up. I mean,
Oh,
super big.
oh yeah.
Um,
I didn't know that they went international shit. I thought it was just like an American West Coast, East Coast kind of thing. But I only
well,
watched like the first season.
I tried to open up something else. I think it's on Paramount, one of the Paramounts, and I was watching a show, and I went to go finish it, and it comes up with continue watching type stuff, and so I see had work the show my daughter was watching, and as I'm scrolling down to my show, I see season, and then one was like international. I'm like, wow, it's dude is
Damn.
he rich.
Did
He
it, Rue?
wanna call Rue is rich. So it's interesting. I've actually, I've watched a few of them with her because sometimes she just pulls it up downstairs, on the living room TV, and they're actually, I mean, they're humorous as hell to watch because they're so catty. It's, it's like any other reality TV show where they're, pseudo backstabbing, but they're helping each other, and then they're talking shit about each other, and then you throw a drag persona on that, it gets even more fun, and then it's interesting when they do it outside of drag, because then you're like, well, they don't quite have the voice, but sometimes it comes in and out, but they're not dressed, to the nines for it. Yeah, it's fun. It's great. But, so as I'm watching this, Mike, I've noticed the different personalities in the show and seeing how some take it way more serious than others, just in the whole encompassing of the everything that's entailed, right? Because it's not just it's like any outside of being the drag portion, it's just like a beauty pageant, right? They gotta pick their dresses, their walk, their look, the makeup, the whole 9 yards to put the storyline together for themselves. And you see some that are in it to win it from the get-go, and others that kinda just ebb and flow and are just there for the attention.
Yeah.
And, it had me thinking, Mike. It had me thinking about the different type of personalities that we deal with in our, day-to-day working environment or that we
Yeah.
have dealt with over the last 30
Couple
years,
decades.
right? As weird as it is to sound, but I mean, we've both worked since we were teenagers, so it's a
Yeah.
long time, and, even when you're a kid working your first or second job, there's still a whole difference in personality, mannerisms, oomspa, whatever you wanna call it. People are either there to do the shit and grow and move up the chain, or I'm here for my X number of hours and taking every smoke break I can.
This will be interesting because you and I took are on 2 different paths. Like me, I'm in a blue collar trench, where I deal with the white collar people quite
Mhm.
often, and I can pick out both. Do you ever get a chance at your jobs in the past to deal with a lot of directly blue collar people while you're doing all the head work and stuff upstairs? Because this is what will make this interesting to see what
Mhm.
the parallels are between an office job and a floor job and
Uh,
the attitudes that get mixed with that. Because boy, I can tell you that the worlds are different. Yeah.
so, yeah, Mike, you're right, let's talk about, shall we call them the coworker that why the fuck are they here? I don't know. We will come up with a good catchphrase before we're done as to what encompasses this, but there's the
Non-hackers, maybe? Yeah.
it's the guy or gal that you continue to work with, and at least 3 times a week, you have that conversation and with yourself, and you just go, "Why are they here? What are they actually doing? How have they not been fired?" what dirt do they have on who the heck knows what? Because I don't know why this person is here, period. Other than, 2 days out of the year when they actually do something useful. And the rest of it So do you want to start with it or do you want me to start? Which route do you want to go?
You go ahead and head it up because I've got some juicy shit.
Oh boy, juicy, juicy. All right. So Mike, I'm gonna look at this, like you said, I've done the younger years was more manual labor because it was while still in high school or going through college, and all I cared about was making a buck to,
Okay.
for beer money and paying for school and whatever there. I can remember working concrete plants, and I did one summer, which sucked, but there's times or even in something like that where there was always one guy who seemed to somehow only ever broom up concrete dust. And the big thing and it's already a billion degrees out. You're sweating, you're dying, you're breathing in crap all day long. And like we had a thing when you're doing this to where you did have a zone. So when we were building whatever, putting the molds together for getting ready to pour the concrete, it was a lot of those big pieces you'll see going in down in like septic lines where they come together
Mhm.
or the pipes of it. A lot of us built that or very small bridges, which was those were pretty cool to do because they were just big enough that there would be almost three-piece. It was pretty neat. But you would have these ginormous molds that were concrete that you started off putting them together or actually taking them apart first thing in the morning, right? Because they've sat. You break these things apart, they move everything out, put it back together, and there's downtime in between the multiple steps throughout the day. And the
Mhm.
downtime is always clean your zone. So you had to just you swept
Yeah.
constantly, sweeping up concrete dust and clean it up so then it didn't become like, 6 inches of snow concrete dust, right? But
Right.
there's always at least one guy that somehow, when they're looking for him to help with the manual labor or the shit that made you actually have to do something, or if you made a mistake, you could lose a finger or arm or something like that. And the guy was always either off in the bathroom, so somebody else would start it off, and then his job would be taken care of. And then you would just find him sweeping. He would just be, I got this zone right now because Bobby's over there doing X, Y, and Z. It's like, I mean, I remember this was one year in college. I didn't even last all summer because the heat was ridiculous. I could come home and blow my nose and be like black death coming out
Oh
of my.
yeah.
But this guy, that's all he ever did was boom. And even being a young kid that was just there to work his ass off, and they paid really good though. Like, I remember I earned like a whole year's worth of, college tuition working like 2 months at this thing one summer because it was but then again, you're outside, it's blazing hot, it sucked.
Yeah.
You weren't
Yeah.
going out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You get
so
paid for suck.
exactly, exactly, so you got people doing as little as possible even when they're getting paid good. It's amazing to see that. So, yeah, okay, that's what I've seen in the lower portions of it, even the young days working at, like, a Subway, a fast food to where the line would be out the door, there'd always be the one person who's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go restock the lettuce and all that," and you're like, "Dude, there's 30 angry people that just want their food right now, and we don't need that. It's ready," but you don't wanna deal with the angry people. And then you go, Mike, so then you move on, right? And so for me, I moved into the white collar suit and tie bullshit, which is interesting when you're younger because the earlier years of that, you're green, you're still learning the different aspects. Every person that you're interacting with is you're way superior. So you kinda have
Mhm.
to you're looking up to them, you're learning from them, you're trying to, "Yes, sir," or "Yes, ma'am," not lose your job, and all that kinda
Yeah.
stuff.
Treading lightly.
Yes, but there were always so you would still see even at that level, there's a lot of people that would do just enough,
Mhm.
or they would make sure that instead of having to do even just enough at the office, they would be the fun guy at happy hour, or they would just make up for it by being buddy buddy, and then somebody would always pick up the slack for them. I saw a lot of that over the first, let's just say, 5 or so years of my true career as it's kind of growing. And but you would also notice that because when I really started into it, it was the big dot com blow up.
Oh, I remember.
Blew the it just died, and companies went under like crazy. And I remember I'd been through a good handful of layoffs over the years, and guess who's always the first ones to let go when that kinda stuff happens? Sweet, because people know, this guy's replaceable by a monkey. So
Oh yeah.
but we like having Johnny around because, he makes the good coffee and, he's always great for morale, but not the guy that you're gonna call at 2 a.m. when something breaks, right?
What exactly does he do? I don't know.
Yes.
He's a
So
funny
then
guy, though.
the thing is, Mike, where it becomes even more interesting that I found in that manner is the good bulk of my career was in consulting. So we'd be going to businesses, different companies all the time instead of just staying at one core location for an extended period of time. When you're in one place for a long time, you learn the lay of the land, other people, you see these slackers and what you can rely on them for, what you can't, and everybody kind of has that.
Yeah.
It's real interesting when you're always jumping around and coming in, and you gotta learn about a company real fast to fix whatever you're there to do, right? And so you learn those people very, very quickly. And
Yes.
then it gets even more fun because then you've got the people that you have to get answers from, and they're useless. Like, what do they say? It's like tits on a bowl, right?
Yeah.
Yep, good there.
Why are you here?
Yeah, so it's literally the "Why are you here? Because you must be someone's son or adopted whatever, because you should not be here. You're useless." And then the best is when you have the almost the opposite of that. You've got the people that do something, not everything, maybe not even a ton, but they do one thing really good and they know it, and then they've got the mass ego to where they'll be like, I'll get you that information when I'm ready, when I have time. I don't need to deal with you. I don't really care why
You,
you're here, like, type of deal,
you
right?
plebeian turd.
Yes, Michael, I had one. You're gonna love this story, okay? I was down in, Jamaica. We were working for a very large company down there doing a huge amount of rework for them. And I remember one time this is great. We're sitting in an office with very high level execs and high level managers getting all these breaking down the process of the business that we're rebuilding. And I remember my manager, dear sweet friend of mine, he's up on the good old whiteboard writing stuff down, just capturing everything. And we're just
Mhm.
jotting down. What do we got? Okay, we're gonna have to do this, going through all that. Earlier days of cell phones, okay? But they were there. They're running out. So I remember this lady once, she gets a call in the middle of our meeting. Oh, she sits back. "What's up, girl?" And she starts talking. Loud. And I remember looking over at my manager, and he's got his hand on his head, bald head, and he's just like pulling it down like this. And you could see in his eyes were, what the hell just happened? And I mean, like,
Oh
dude,
man.
stop. She could give two shits what that we were actually there for and on a time frame. But it gets better. As this conversation's going on, another phone rings, someone answers it and says, "Oh, you should talk to so and so." Now this chick's got two phones in her hand, and she's talking on two cell phones. Or like, I mean, I think I don't remember, like, my manager literally at some point, he was like, the fuck's going on? No. And I know y'all paying me to be here and you're wasting, look around the room with all the people in here, you're wasting hundreds of dollars
Wow.
every minute you're on this phone, and it's just adding up faster and faster. And I mean, you're like, whole, and it also derailed the entire momentum too on top of it, right? So it's like your 5 minute conversation probably just costs 10 people an hour. So an entire day burned away of progress.
Yeah, especially when you're having a meeting about a specific several subjects. Yeah,
Well,
that's
and
probably
when
the ultimate of rude.
Yeah, yeah, and there were no shits given at this. And I mean, listen, Caribbean people are fun. It's a different culture. They're more laid back with that, but there's still a difference of, I think the highest shareholder for this company was in this meeting, and you're like, that guy could probably fire you and you still don't care. It's very interesting. You must have naked pictures or something because, girl, you got balls. It was an experience ever. I mean, I've never seen anything quite that blatant before. I've seen some good ones. And I've seen people get back at each other. Dude, we had a meeting once in, this was not Coral Gables. It was like Biscayne Bay in Florida at a derivative company, which is, of all things, confusing as all hell. But ridiculous amounts of money gets traded hands with these kind of places. It makes you just don't even believe it exists. But one guy that was there, of these two pseudo partners in the firm that we're working with, one of them had a very strong accent. I think he might have been French or something like that. And the other guy was a, a younger, Wharton grad type of deal who was, and he's all like to sometimes move the conversation away from work for because he was just a talkative sort, right? But it wouldn't
Yeah.
it would derail too much. It would be a little bit. But the other guy got serious one time. He's like, "We need to stop. Listen, we need to fuck us. I won't we must stay with it." And the other guy, so now we're just sitting back watching, that we're consultants. And we're like, we can't say shit, right? But the other guy looks at me, he's like, and then he looks over at us and he smiles. And looks, so he's like, "What'd you say? What's wrong? We need to what?" God, I said we need to focus and get back on track with what we're doing. We're going to be here forever. And the guy goes, "You focus? What is wrong with you?" And then the guy realized, he goes, "Focus." And then he was like, "Oh yeah, and fuck you." And he left. So like it was like just ended the meeting right there. And we're like,
Damn.
the guy just, the guy that worked with him just busted out laughing. That was classic. Oh, that was great. I'm like, you could buy and sell me, and you're just playing jokes around this kind of stuff.
Wow.
I want to be in your tax bracket.
Yeah, no shit.
So
Oh,
you've got a lot of that, right? I'm gonna let you tell a story here before because I got at least one more good one that's a little more recent
so
in the last few years.
so mine is all fairly. I mean, I've been in the same industry for going on 29 years now. Um,
Oh,
it's I have come at almost 50 years old to the realization that I'm the turning point to where a lot of my upper management people are younger than me. Um, which I have nothing but the utmost respect for trying to get people where they need to go in their life.
right.
As long as you keep it real and you learn and you're not a disrespectful twat. Oh, I mean, my current manager, he's like nine, 19 years younger than me.
He's still old. Sorry,
He's
kidding.
like 31.
I'm teasing.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit of a shocker just to know where I was when he was born. And I'm like, what?
We remember, yeah.
But at the same time, getting off track a little bit on that, but when I go into the story, it's like the age doesn't matter. It's the respect that's given and the respect that's handed out. So I've had people that have come in that were my exact same age and have been total twats. And I'm sorry, that's my word of the day. It's been all day. I've been rocking it. I don't know why, but twat is just it's going. I
Hey,
called I called three people twats today at work and it was great. It was funny. We all laughed. So 21 years has gone by, and there's a gentleman, of course, I won't name names, but 21 years of this person who camouflaged himself as a good worker,
uh,
but ended up, after so many years, worked harder at doing nothing but pointing out everybody else's mistakes. He's a
oh,
squirrel. Look what they're doing. Look what they're doing. He's coming to work. I mean, he's no longer with my job, hasn't been for over a year and a half. But he is definitely the epitome of a boss boy wannabe
okay.
dictator. So he was supposed to be the leader of our crew, and the crew would walk in and need help with something, and he would take lines and lines of papers and stack them nice and neatly in a very anal retentive way and act like he was done doing something really, really important. He wasn't a very bright person. He was talented when it came to mechanical things. As far as the work ethic went, he worked harder at getting out of it than he did doing. And somehow became my lead, and I still can't figure that one out. So he's the type of guy that would come into work completely inebriated,
Oh,
slurring his words. He came to me to complain about another employee and something they weren't doing a task on the job to his specifications. And when I looked at him and I went, dude, you're slurring your words and you smell of booze. And he's like, I know, I told so and so I probably should stay home, but look at these pictures, Mike. Look what they're not doing out there. And I sit there and I stared at this guy and went, so let me get this right. You're coming up to me to complain about another employee not doing a task while being physically drunk right now. I know, Mike. He sent me home. That's okay. Well, needless to say, I ended up getting him suspended for 2 weeks.
That's ballsy.
And yeah, there's 21 years with this guy. It's like mental damage. He is the epitome of the blue collar worker that will go out to a person's area and complain about him consistently, while being the guy that doesn't do that job ever because it's above him. It's below
Oh,
him, I should say.
one of those.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of them. The biggest ones I love so far are the people in our offices, and none of the ones I'm talking about right now are even with the company. But we've had people come in director positions, and they come in looking shiny, polished. They've got these huge resumes, and dude, they can't rub an eraser to a paper. I don't know how they got where they got. You could definitely tell that they're excessively good at the gift of gab or
Yes.
bullshitting for that. But when the rubber hits the road, they have failed consistently. Their true colors show. Like one guy turned out to be a complete misogynist and got let go from the company. The funny thing about that is he had nothing but women working underneath him. So that wasn't a good spot for him. Yeah, I've had to deal with that. Yeah, that gentleman right there is probably the scar of it all. He's done things in the past to try and make everybody else look like the evil person, and once had the audacity to tell one of our new hires that he had more power than me and our manager and his brother all put together because of the dirt he's got on everybody. And
Sweet.
when I heard that, I was like, "Really? All right." A year later, he got terminated.
So much dirt.
So much for your untouchable ass.
Yeah, right.
So if he ever listens to this, cheers, bitch.
The scab of the workplace, right? Well, the funny thing is, Mike, similar to like someone like that, have you had like have you ever worked with anybody that was when they worked, they were just phenomenal at their job? Like, I know why you were hired. You are smart. You're really just amazing at doing this. You're savant almost, right? But then you see them screw up in so many other ways where you're like, wow, I know why you're here, but I don't know why you're here because just like
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like even like the guy who came over and complained to you once drunk wasn't even good at anything to where he wasn't easily replaceable type of deal.
Oh, he put on a good show. That's
And
that's what he did. He talked good with the troglodytes of the company at the time and
yeah,
was able to keep his worth somewhere.
so many.
21 years. I still can't figure it out.
So I worked with a guy once. Again, mad genius, smart. Anyone who is in this situation will know exactly who I'm talking about, but I will try to be somewhat vague to a point. Not that I really care. I don't see this person. I'm not going to call them out by name anyway. But I was working in Memphis at the time, and this person that was also working there had a bit of a gambling addiction.
Oh yeah.
Put him from one place to Memphis, and not too far from Memphis, Tennessee, Mike, as you can get to the Mississippi River and you can
Huh?
gamble. Okay. So there would be many nights where we would start early, we would work our butts off throughout the day, we would be going hard crazy. And normally, if we're actually not going to continue working into the evening like we did way too often. Most of these jobs, the group of people that were there were usually a pretty tight knit group because a lot of us did a lot of stuff together at different companies. And we're even sometimes very close friends outside of work. So when we're traveling and someone else is footing the bill, well, you go out for a nice dinner, drinks. At least I'm not home. I'm not doing whatever. So I'm gonna take advantage of being away
Oh
from
yeah.
everything that's mine. I'm sleeping in hotels and all that shit. So we would do that, with this one guy who was again, he was a good friend of as well, a lot of us that were at this location. He would get in his rental car, drive to the casino,
Oh.
gamble the night away. And there were, unfortunately, and how he never got fired from this, do not know. But there was numerous times where one, he would stumble out to the car at lunch hour and pass out because he was just so tired because he'd been
Oh
up
man.
gambling so much that night. There was at least once where I believe we found him in his car sleeping the next morning when we got into the office. At least he wasn't a heavy drinker when he went out gambling, so he was coherent enough to drive his ass to show up to. He always would show up to work. I mean, he might, have one eye open because the other one's trying to sleep, It would definitely impact his work because he would, when he wasn't doing this, he's a rock star. He's ripping it all out. It's like anyone with any type of addiction, right? You see the drop.
Yeah.
And
You
when
need
they
like
don't.
one day of awesomeness and another 6 of what the hell is this here?
Yes,
Yeah.
and almost like I can slack and do all this for 2 weeks as long as I spend these 3 days and rip it all out anyway, and I'm still getting my work done? Well, yeah, it works in some areas, but when you're also in front of people that are paying for this crap, and when they are the ones that come in and be like, "Hey, I just saw so and so sleeping in the car."
Yeah,
That's
is
not
he a
cool.
problem?
Yeah, exactly. So, like, that was one of the ones. I mean, I remember once I'd stayed a weekend and we went out gambling and we had a decent night, whatever. And I have very specific rules that I try to follow when I play craps. I love it, but I know my limit as to what I can afford to lose. It's not going to impact anything, even, in my younger years. And if it's
Sure.
gone, gone, I'm done. I'm just going to gamble enough to get my free drinks and continue on at this point, or I'll call it a night. And I think or if I get up to a certain point, I also realize, okay, it's starting to, the flip, the switch is starting to flip and I ain't winning anymore. I need to stop while I'm ahead.
Yeah.
And when you're young, 5, 6, 800 bucks seems like a shit ton of money,
It is a shit ton of money.
right? You really didn't expect to even get it. You thought, oh, I'm going to lose 150 bucks, but I'm going to get really drunk tonight. So whatever. It's no different than anything else.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
time, and he was actually disappointed after, I don't know, 12 hours at a craps table. And I'm like, "I'm done. I'm out." And he's like, "Oh, but I had this dream we were just gonna win so big over the weekend." And I'm like, "Yeah, sorry."
Wow, a dream?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to see that, mindset when it gets stuck in people. And again, when you see it, but I mean, he would cater his work around being able to go do this, and it's like, wow, how did you it wasn't even threading the needle, it was just barely a balancing act, and there were so many times where everyone was like, "Why is he not gonna go? This is ridiculous." No one could understand
Yeah.
it because you become a liability at that point too,
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's
big time.
crazy. But again, super not like he was lazy or any of that. A hard worker when he worked, smart as a whip. But you still see people like that are, what? Why the hell are you here? Because one doesn't outweigh the other, unfortunately. I've always looked at stuff and like, I don't, that's maybe I've seen it enough times now where I just don't ever want to be that guy. I'll get
Yeah.
the phone call and I'll answer while I'm on vacation. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, I forgot you're on vacation. I shouldn't have reached you up. I'm like, it's still my job. I'm available whether I wanna be or not, unless I'm literally not. I've seen people like we had a guy recently who's not don't work with him anymore, but he'd gotten through a thing and became, again, one of those, "This guy ain't doing shit," taking advantage of remote work and, always
Yeah.
driving his kids somewhere, doing whatever, and, like, I would be doing something, like, on a weekend, they'd be like, "Oh, were you working on the weekend?" I'm like, 'cause I needed to. There was something that needed to be done, or X broke, or I had to check on something because or this happened, and that's just what you do. You don't wanna come
Yeah.
in. Sorry, it's just like if someone called you and you had to come in the middle of the night or on the weekend because somebody screwed something up over the weekend, and the domino effect of this starting on Monday is gonna be ridiculous, and it's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
pain for you than if you give up a little bit of your quote unquote "free time" to do something that this is what you pay me to do. If something went south, be it on my watch or not, I'm still gonna fix it for you. And I see people that are
Yeah.
shocked by that. I'm like, "Well, you just don't really care. You're literally here for a paycheck," which I get it, but
Joe, the one thing that's always tripped me up is people that blatantly take advantage of a situation. And I've had plenty, like I had one guy that worked underneath me on my team that one day because I had to like get on him like, hey, dude, I mean, we've got this, and this to do, and it's been 45 minutes and we still don't have task A done, and you're talking about task D. We got to move it. Well, he accused me of being a racist because I didn't say that to the white guy in my crew. And I was like, no, no, that's not what happened. But I got the hint. Unfortunately, that was a long task to where when you're in the position of being a leader of a squad or team, sometimes you got to let those dominoes fall on their own,
yeah.
which is sad to see. Because once something like that happens, when somebody finds that wheel of manipulation against somebody that cares about what they're doing on the job, you have to stop caring and let them hang themselves. I have a gentleman now that I work with. He's a great guy. He has great potential, but there's these steps I have to go through to try and get him to be a consistent asset, I think is what I'm trying to look for.
Okay. You have to mentor him more than you like.
Yeah, yeah, there's a couple of them. But one in particular that worries me because he's a younger guy, not too much younger. He's in his 30s. Great guy, great sense of humor. He can take the blows and he can set them up, and we have a great time. He's a good worker, but he's got these quirks that I just can't get around. But I'm starting to see that some of those quirks are, how do I say this politely? Bullshit. And it breaks my heart knowing that somebody with so much potential. And honestly, that breaks my heart the most is when like the gentleman that was a whiz kid,
Yeah.
went to great schools and all that stuff. And to have small things like that in their lives wreck them. It's the goodwill hunting part, the super genius working construction kind of thing. It's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing here? But yeah, all the hurdles. What I don't understand is how people are able to get to the point in their careers, their career paths, to where this is where they think is how it's done. Who mentored them this shit?
There
Who
we
put
go.
this in their head? What the fuck? I can't figure it out because I don't know anybody in my baby boomer upbringing as an ex gen people that operated like that. I can't figure out where they got the idea because I was always taught you work with honesty, integrity, and get your job done. That's what you do. That's your ethic.
Like that?
And some of these people just come in and try to twist something where all they have to do is drink coffee all day and answer a phone once or twice and go hack it up in a meeting for an hour and a half. It's like, what?
So it's funny that you went that way because as you were talking, first I was thinking about a conversation we had. I don't know how many weeks ago where we were talking about the kind of the hustle generation, right? And the difference
Yeah,
that the kids don't really have that anymore as much. It's there, but not as many have it like we did. But I've also
right.
noticed that most of the people that I've referenced tonight have either been my age, only a couple years younger, or even
Yeah.
older, which is humorous because it's not like you can say it's the younger generation that's just slackers. This is
No.
people, but the beauty is, like you were talking about, someone who goes through and was taught that way or learned that way, because these are people that are, again, now in their 40s, 50s, hell, maybe 60s. I don't know how old some of these guys
60s.
are
Yeah.
now, but they've
Oh, there's some of
but what it means is they have done this their entire life. So they've either learned how to manipulate the situation wherever they are. It's like they've been fed this easy route and they've learned how to play that game. And I don't it's weird when I see it. There's so many times where or the worst is you get a notice, like for me, if it's remote, I'm sure you get that occasional. Do you have an office? I don't know. Do you have an office? I don't know.
Yeah, I have enough.
Okay, so you would get that occasional, and you look up and you're like, not him,
Oh,
anybody.
yeah, all the time. Oh, yeah.
I'll get a Teams I get a message from somebody, and it might just pop up and it'll be like, "Hey, Joe," and I'll be like, I'll
Yeah,
even,
you know what's gonna ruin your morning. You're like, "This is not gonna be good."
or this is gonna go drag on for 10 times longer than it needs to for someone to finally ask me a question that I can answer in 30 seconds. And there's one guy I know, and I've dealt with him for many years, where I get a ding, and as I'm
Oh,
waiting
yeah.
for the follow-up, I'm now texting with somebody else. "Guess who just hit me up?" And they're like, "Oh, sorry." Or
There went your day.
right. The best is I've had times where I've done that about somebody, and they'll be like, "Oh, yeah, that person was just asking me something, didn't like my answer, so I guarantee you they're gonna ask you X, Y, and Z right now. Watch." Like, you see
Oh,
people
yeah.
in the business thing, in the working world, they've got you got your bros, right? You got your bros, you got your work wife, spouse, and you
Oh,
got
yeah.
your work mom and dad. So if I need X, I go ask this person for it. If I want something else, I go ask this one. And if I don't like the answer because they can get away with an answer from either one of them, I go ask the other one. When they know which to ask. Those are the people that know how to play the working game to a T. They got it laid out.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. I've got so I've got like our new manager, like again, great guy, but he's learning a lot, especially as far as boundaries and trust. Like he's the new guy on the block, so nobody trusts him. Therefore, he has lots of boundaries.
Yeah, I get that.
And I told him a couple weeks ago, I went, buddy, I go, it'll get better. That's all it can do. I'm like, right now you're the new kid on the block, and it just is what it is. So he's
Yeah,
like, I can't even order a damn pencil without getting 5 signatures. I went, well, yeah, it's par for the course for being new blood in the streets.
yeah.
But yeah, as we grow older, like I've got this new guy, totally different department from what I work in. He got moved to a back shift, so he's working a third shift. Uh, in production right now. Real good guy. Just turned 21. He's got his whole life ahead of him. And I pull him off to the side every once in a while. I'm like, hey, if you want to succeed, do A, B, and C. But all along the lines, don't be unoriginal. Don't be a twat.
Mm,
And do what you say you're gonna do. I go, as far as this job, make yourself less expendable than the next guy. That's what every job has to be. And
exactly.
do it with earnest integrity. Don't do it because you just feel like the one gentleman I worked 21 years with. He thrived on having something one up. He Epsteined everybody.
Everybody.
He liked to have something on everybody just so he could protect himself on something. I was like, how exhausting. I went, how about you just come into work and do your job and just have job security that way? That would be great. But yeah, well, he got terminated. I still know the date. And actually, his year anniversary of termination, we had pizza and I made a cheesecake for my crew.
I was gonna say, do you celebrate it? That's funny. That's funny.
But yeah, we did.
So, but I guess what it really comes down to, Mike, though, is we started off just talking about the the slacker, the person that can just kind of flow through the work environments without ever shining too bright or too dark or really doing much of anything. But I think as we're talking about it more and more, what it's really coming down to is everywhere you work, there's this family dynamic there. Because again, like we just talked about, there's the mom and dad that you go to for certain things.
Oh yeah.
There's the lazy uncle. There's the drunk, obnoxious aunt. There's the stepbrother. There's the stepsister. There's the red-headed bastard stepchild nobody knows about, and everyone knows what their problem is, but no one will talk about it,
Yeah, yeah. No, where that gets me in trouble because I talk about it.
right? You got
We have
then you've got the extroverts that are introverts that are just like the crazy hermit uncle that's there.
and there is a slew of my coworkers that are like, they just don't want to cause any waves. I went, so you're willing to stay with the status quo
Sure.
and you're very unhappy, but you're not going to say anything about it. I went, not that I don't work like that. I haven't for at least 2 decades, which has cost me a promotion or two,
Which but
but it is what it is.
that's also the person that on their review comes around, they're like, "Mike, my raise was shit." It's like, well,
Mhm.
you're a C-level person, man. You're just average. You're not even trying. You're not even dude, you at least Spicoli was interesting. You're not even there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're actually starting a new realm of reviews at our current job, and boy, I'm not worried about myself. I'm worried about a couple of my homies. So but we'll see. But yeah, in hindsight, I think when it comes down to if you are starting off in the work and you're gracious enough to listen to this podcast of mine and Joe's, it's just have some integrity, learn some work ethic, and know that it's not all about you. Sometimes and there is it's tough to find a job where loyalty is a thing. But if
Yep.
you're at a job, it's kind of like being a team on a NFL football team. One day you're going to be with the Cleveland Browns. The next day you're going to be with the Jacksonville Jaguars. While you're there, make the difference that you want to be. Um, don't don't sit there and like, well, I rather have been here. Make the best of what you got where you're at, and be a mentor. Don't be a douchebag. And don't be a twat.
Well, yeah, if your goal is to get picked up by the Patriots, well, then you gotta show them why they should grab you, you know? And
Exactly.
yeah, it's everything is some people say, "Oh, it's just work, it's just a job." Yeah, well, they hired you for a reason, you're doing it for a reason. Somebody else would take that job if you didn't wanna do it. And I think the other thing that I'm gonna say, especially to the new people out there, in the workforce and even the older people that have been around the workforce for a while. If you can't spot the guy that shouldn't be there, he's you, fucker.
Oh, 100%. If you're the all-star that nobody's talking about, oh, buddy. Yeah.
100%. If they don't invite you out for drinks, there's a reason.
Oh, yeah. My guys, since I've outgrown all my fellas, like, again, I run a crew of 4, soon to be 5 people by the summertime. They call me daddy in a
Is it?
very non-sexual way, of course.
I,
I said, "They
I,
call me daddy."
I believe I actually watched. I don't want to continue this much longer, but because I know it'll make you throw up in your mouth a little bit, because I do know you well enough. I watched a little bit of the Trump speech in Switzerland this morning.
Oh,
It
no, I
was
watched it too, bro.
it
I
was a
watched
rant,
it too.
but I do believe that he said that the European leaders
Yes.
call him daddy.
Yeah, I laughed. All
Um,
truth on the side. So when I take my shower, I will stand in the shower where I put my cell phone, I watch my YouTube vids, right? And I was watching that newscast while I'm washing my bald ass head. And I just started laughing my ass off. It was like, some of them, they even call me daddy. I'm like, oh my God. They
I
did. They used to call me daddy. I'm like, oh no.
I think
I'm keeping it, Joe. I like being called daddy.
yeah, well, Mike, I think now at some point I wanna talk about your bathing rituals, because if you spend enough time in the shower that you need to have YouTube,
Oh yeah, it's nothing more than music. Well, I
well,
never finish any one show because 10, 15 minutes. That's yeah. I mean, I love hot water, but not that much. There's only been about 2 times this year so far that I've emptied out the hot water tank.
well, tankless hot water heater, you could be in there forever, and so could your
That's why I'm afraid of getting one.
alright, Mike, let's wrap this bad boy up, alright?
Ladies and
Don't
gentlemen, have a good week, and hopefully we'll get to talk some more stuff next week. Joe,
yeah, I
you're
hope you're
beautiful.
I will try my best. I hope you're not the douchebag at work that everyone's talking about behind your back. Even if you are, you got time to turn it around. You could sit on
There's
these
still time.
and get a
I'm gonna
raise.
be somebody.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And you mentioned last week a quote from the movie Pain and Gain.
Mhm.
I've been meaning to watch that one for years, Mike, and I actually just started it yesterday.
Oh,
So in
such a
my
good movie.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna give you my review on it. And we're a few weeks in, real quick. Last 30 seconds, Mike. I've had more opportunities to break my resolution, and I've held fast and strong.
Golf clap. Well done, sir.
Been
Well done.
It has been very difficult a few times, but I'm doing it. One, I haven't had a drink, but that's not a resolution. That's just
Yeah, but you don't drink that much. It's a,
and that one has a finite time frame to look on. But the other one, I've kept my mouth shut and just smiled and nodded. It's a bitch.
I'm proud of you, homie.
All right, brother. Till next week.
All right. Love you, everybody. Have a good one.
Peace out. Love everybody.